we're going to use AI today to collect the most searched questions on the internet associated with the royal family. I'm going to stress that this is not a question coming from me. Again, I'm going to remind that this is AI telling me that this is one of the most searched questions in search engines online. What royal family did Queen Victoria belong to?
Oh, she was a member of the House of Hanover. The House of Hanover succeeded to the British throne in 1714 when the last Stuart monarch, Queen Anne, died, because no Catholic could become monarch. So when Queen Anne died, having had, I think, 18 children, none of whom made it to adulthood, the throne, the crown went it should have gone to Sophie of Hanover, who was the next non-Catholic person in the line of succession. But she died shortly before Queen Anne, so it went to the King of Hanover, Georg, who was 56th in line to the throne at the time. So you had then the House of Hanover was King George I, his son King George II, his grandson King George III, who rather carelessly lost America for us. Then George IV, known to history as the Prince Regent, because he was regent of the country for 10 years before his father's death, his father suffering from a form of not porphyria, as used to be thought, or madness, as it was generally known. He was suffering from an extremely severe form of manic depression, and by the end of his life was blind and rendered speechless. So you had George IV, then the Sailor King, William IV. He died without any legitimate children. He certainly had children, but none legitimate. So Queen Victoria came to the throne, his niece, the daughter of George IV and William IV's late brother, the Duke of Kent, Edward, Duke of Kent. And Queen Victoria acceded. And afterwards, because she married Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, the royal family became the House of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, and then you have Edward VII, George V, and then it changes to the House of Windsor.
Why do you think Queen Victoria took her husband's last name, but we weren't going to take Prince Philip's?
Well, she was very traditional in that way, I think, and believed in her duty as a wife as much as she believed in her duty as a monarch. She was devoted to Prince Albert, as we know, absolutely distraught, disconsolate for decades after he died, and sought to memorialize him in every single way. So I think, it would never have occurred to Queen Victoria not to let her husband's children be that house and have that surname. Whereas I think by 1952, there was a rather different idea, which was we have the House of Windsor. This man coming in is not. He wasn't Prince. Prince Philip was never Prince Consort, which was an official title that Albert had given to him by Queen Victoria. And she would, I think, were it not for pretty strong political opposition to the idea, I think she might very well have made Albert a co-monarch, as, for instance, William and Mary were co-monarchs. When Mary, the daughter of James II, came to the throne after James II's abdication, when he ran away, William became king because he was invited to become king, of course, but she also wanted him to become king. So they were co-monarchs. I don't think there was ever that possibility for the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. There would have been immense political opposition. There was immense political opposition. There was also opposition from within the royal family.
I forget about that.
And from the royal household. So I think it simply was never a going concern. It was never a running possibility.
I do think that's what I like about King Charles making Camilla queen consort. It does feel like the king, it's a way that he expresses his love and respect for her.
Yep, indeed, yep. And let's not forget that later on, the Queen did make the surname Mountbatten Windsor. I think it was when Prince Edward was born, the Queen announced that henceforth she and all her family would be Mountbatten Windsor. But the house remains the House of Windsor,
right?
Because there was a famous remark that when the Queen came to the throne in 1952, Lord Mountbatten was heard to say at a cocktail party in London, and now the House of Mountbatten Windsor reigns. It doesn't at all. It's the House of Windsor. Their surname may be Mountbatten Windsor, but it's absolutely the House of Windsor, and that was by design of the Queen,
Right.
who I think had a rather ambivalent relationship with the late Earl Mountbatten of Burma.
Are you referring to Queen Elizabeth or the Queen Mother when you say that?
Both.
Yeah.
Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. I think both she and the late Queen Mother thought that he pushed his royal connections and power rather too far.
Interesting.